All right, let's just go back before we continue with the topic. In terms of the company, how did XR Lab come about, and what was the inspiration?
So I always say VR is here to help people fail safely while succeeding confidently.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Just like that. Take my hands, and then I can no longer see the guys in the room.
Okay.
So now I am seeing the metaverse, this virtual space, so I can interact with the objects. But most importantly, if you can see in this controller, we are able to move with this gear because we don't want people to move physically.
So with Izozo, I am the marketing and digital manager, and I am working with Abundando. We are having software developers, and we have agents as well. So what happens is we train agents, we find just unemployed young people, we empower youth.
That's great.
Yeah, to be agents.
Hi guys, you are watching Couchtalk with LHS, where we have meaningful conversations about HR-related topics, leadership, culture, entrepreneurship, and the ever-evolving workplace. I am your host, Naombele, aka Boss Lady, and today I'm not by myself. I have officially, last week I think we had a ghost gentleman, we now have a ghost lady. I need props around here, just some sort of entertainment. Alright, so traditional training methods often struggle to replicate the real-world challenges without introducing real-world risks. In this episode of Couchtalk with LHS, we sit down with a team from X Reality Lab to explore how immersive technologies are transforming the way organizations train, onboard, and develop their people. From mining and manufacturing to healthcare and engineering, virtual and augmented reality are creating safer, more engaging, and highly effective learning experiences. So I've got a team from XR Lab, like I said, Ndando and Millicent. How are you?
Oh, we are good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So before we start, let me just give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves. Maybe just tell us who you are and the company. And I know I've already said the company name, but you can just tell us the company that you come from.
Sure.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ndando.
Thank you. My name is Jabulile Millicent Kolisi, and I am from X Reality Lab.
Thank you.
All right. My name is Ndando Nkosi Masimula from the X Reality Lab. I'm the COO of the company as well as the software developer. And yeah, there's quite a lot of things that I do. But I hold a degree in data science and computer science from UCT.
You're making me feel like it's an interview now. I have to start pulling out the HR in here and start asking you questions. Thank you very much for that intro. So I've said a mouthful, right? In terms of my intro. There are buzzwords that are popping up. Some of them we know, some of them we don't know what they mean. I've spoken about virtual reality, which is VR. We've talked about AR, which is augmented reality. And apparently there's also another one, which is mixed reality. Yes. So maybe before we start with our topic, because we're going to focus on all those things, just tell us what the difference is between all three of them.
Okay, so in layman terms, I won't be too technical, hopefully.
Yes.
In the entire
interview.
So virtual reality, we can think of it as the highest form of immersion, meaning that when you wear the headset, so as you can see these headsets that we have here, once you wear them, you are isolated from this environment. So you are now in this computer generated environment. So you won't be seeing anyone in this room, but you will be, for example, in the moon or in the US or at the beach. That's the beauty of it. And then when we talk about augmented reality, so basically you can think of your smartphone of your tablets and everything. We can use it for very interesting things. For example, if you are thinking of putting a new furniture in this room and you are not sure of how it's going to look, you can just take your device, open your camera, point it towards whatever object you are thinking of changing, and then you can put a couch here, and then you can have an idea on how it can
It's gonna look.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then MR, which is relatively new, mixed reality. It's more of an advanced version of augmented reality.
Okay.
So it's building up from augmented reality, because with also another thing with augmented reality, you cannot really interact with these digital objects that you're putting there. So they're just there. Another example maybe that I forgot to explain or to add, when you go to Google, your Google Maps, and you put your location to maybe Pretoria Hatfield, you're able to see the building that you're going to. That is augmented reality, but you cannot enter there. You cannot interact with the building.
Yes.
However, with mixed reality, now we are seeing smart glasses from Meta, the ones integrated with AI. So we can have a virtual engine here. So it's mixed reality. We are here physically, but we can also have other objects here that we can interact with them. So now I can have an engine. I can remove whatever, a table here in this table, but it's not really here, but it's here.
It's here. Okay, all right. So it makes sense. Like I said, some of these things you see, because I mean, specifically when you made an example of Google,
Sure.
when you go into there, you can actually just search and you look at but we don't even know the terms of those particular things. Just one thing that is on my bucket list is Paris. So virtual reality must just do it for me, please. Just so that there's some sort of experience. All right, let's just go back before we continue with the topic. In terms of the company, how did XR Lab come about, and what was the inspiration?
Okay, so it started 2019 after a research study done by Mr. Kolan Skosana, which sets to prove that VR can be used for training. So he was basically comparing immersive learning versus your conventional learning, and the results were quite the same, which then proved that this tool could be used for training. He then saw that there's a problem. That's how the business came about, and most businesses come about here solving a problem.
Definitely.
So
yes.
you can just imagine from a research study, then it started from a university. So we saw that a lot of these courses, for example, in engineering, students are struggling with their practicals because of the lack of equipment. Then this tool can now be used, to replace those engines and stuff, because you find that, for example, students that are doing motor mechanics, they only have one engine to work with, and we are now moving in this digital, world for IR. We don't only have combustion engines, we now have a hybrid as well. So universities cannot afford to buy all those engines.
Absolutely.
But we saw that we can actually build and simulate those engines and put them in our VR space, and then student can be able to interact with them. So that's how XR came about.
So you mentioned one important thing. It came from research to try and solve a problem, right?
Sure.
We're looking at conventional learning. Now you're integrating it with immersive learning, right? What was the effectiveness thereof? Because I'm assuming you're not using them in isolation.
Yeah.
It's in integration.
Yeah.
So we could say one is supporting the other. So if, let's say in layman's terms, the conventional is the theoretical part, and then the immersive would be the practical part thereof. So what is the effectiveness that you've identified or seen?
So when you are doing this research, and I think even without you even doing the research, we can agree that most people, they learn most by doing.
Absolutely.
So we have a problem with retention, So a lot of students, or how really things are being done, we read notes, so there's a problem with just reading notes, because you need more time, So reading your notes doesn't guarantee retention and stuff.
Yeah.
So you need more time and stuff like that. But with this VR, what we've seen is that because it encourages engagement and active participation, so students, they really enjoy engaging with these practicals, and the retention became way much faster, looking at the numbers and the statistics. So we saw that this tool is now even expediting the process of learning. Yeah.
Okay, all right, because my next question was going to touch on what you just touched on a little bit, but you can further elaborate on that, right? Because you're integrating VR in conventional learning, right? How would VR then prepare the workforce of tomorrow?
Okay, that's a good question, by the way. And if you've noticed, I've been saying this tool. So we consider this as a tool for us. And I always say when I talk to my colleagues and friends, I have what we call, and from where we are coming from, IFO, this mission of future of work. So future of work, basically when we are thinking about work right now, there are a lot of there are many industries, guys, which have high risk. They have high cost when it comes to training their employees and stuff. So when we are thinking about the future of workforce, we are imagining this tool being normalized or standardized, not rather being, this fascinating tool and say, oh, VR is just, yeah. So for example, we can think of the healthcare, where the medical students can now perform critical procedures, can learn rather, to perform these critical procedures, because now the problem is also maybe in the mining industry, you are only limited to what you can learn, and also when it comes to making mistakes, so there's only so much you can do. But I believe that with this tool, we are able to simulate every possible risk you can encounter, and you can see the consequences without, being injured yourself or anything
or
like
causing
that.
Damage.
Or causing damage.
In a real life situation.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of them, I say, some trainings are expensive, so it can be costly to the company. So with this tool, we are imagining us, helping industries to reduce their cost and all those things. So I always say VR is here to help people fail safely while succeeding confidently.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Oh, do you want to repeat that again? Do you want to repeat that again?
Sure. So VR, we can use VR for people, to allow people to fail safely,
absolutely.
while succeeding confidently.
Because you're making a valid point in terms of, when companies, like with the intro, when companies train the employees, they want to see ROI, and obviously we want to improve in our processes. So having a tool like this, and I like how you say that, having a tool like this would definitely help in that particular aspect. So I know you've Ghost Lady wants to say something. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I think you've touched a very important part when it comes to VR transforming industries. Maybe you can just elaborate in terms of what steps can organization take to invest in the technology?
Okay, thank you. That's a very good question, and it took us a while to understand this thing. So today we're not here to just put this tool here or showcase this tool and say everyone should invest in this. Is going to be a solution. It's going to work for everyone. In all honesty, this solution won't work for all industries and won't replace teachers and educators. So the problem, and I liked how at first you asked me the question when we were comparing immersive learning and the classroom-based training, because a lot of people tend to now divorce the two, and say, okay, since we now have immersion, there won't be need for this. But this tool is here to help these people. So I would say for organization, before even investing in this tool, it's important for them to identify the problem first. What problems do we have in this organization? And then number two, which I feel like is the most critical point, is then assessing, because we are saying this tool is more valuable in industries which have high risk and high cost. Then you can then evaluate within your problems that you guys have, can this tool really solve our problems? Then if you see it does meet the criteria, then you can come to us or any company that builds this VR platforms, and then you can start with a pilot project, and then you see if it does work, and then you can scale it. Don't just throw money at something that won't work,
may
and
not,
then later
yes,
you're gonna come and discourage
yes,
everyone and say this doesn't work.
does not work. So I think you quite you touched it when you mentioned that the needs analysis portion is very critical. We don't just invest because it's technology, we're moving in the 4IR, I have to be within. But is it fit for purpose? Is it something that's going to help within my organization? That's critical. Now, touching base, just to elaborate more in terms of the question, or maybe to probe more,
Sure.
do you guys then, if somebody is not sure, let's say for example, you've got a company that's not quite sure how we've got a problem, but I'm not sure if this will solve my issues, do you then go in and assist with those particular companies to determine if there is a need or not?
Yes, we do, because what we've seen over time, building platforms in this VR environment is very expensive, so we wouldn't want people to just waste a lot of money into this thing, and also us, we wouldn't want to just build something for it to be, abandoned just like that. So we are a company that values feedback. So we spend a lot of time building this system. So for us, it's not just about selling these products to you, but it's about, making an impact. It's all about telling a story. So that's why we do help those companies. If they say they want VR, then we do help them with the analysis. Are you sure you guys want to do these things? And we also do tell them the risk involved in doing such things.
Okay. Before I'm going to hand over, because I know Ghost Lady wanted to ask another question, and I'm just going to hand over to you guys as well to show us what the tool is all about and how it works. But before then, I've got a position available. This is a client that's based in Sandton, Johannesburg. They're looking for a new business development executive. So for this particular position, the incumbent in this role is to drive the expansion of the company by prospecting for new clients, building relationships with key decision makers, and closing new business deals. So in terms of the minimum requirements, the client is looking for somebody with a degree in a business-related qualification, 5 years experience in B2B, and the person must have experience in selling and influencing executive-level stakeholders, and then the person must have experience in commission-based environment. So we are looking for specific skills and competencies, communication and presentation skills, relationship building, strategic and analytical thinking, self-motivated and resilient employee, and negotiation and closing. So this is very critical that you must have proven ability to negotiate contracts and to close deals that are mutually beneficial for the organization. So for more information, please visit our website www.letshellohr.co.za for more information. Thank you. So back to you. So maybe before I hand over to Ghost Lady, just take us through those particular tools that you have. I'm quite intrigued in terms of how they work. Maybe you can just explain a little bit more, because like I said, this is something fascinating that people would obviously want to understand more about. So maybe if you can just take us through on that.
Okay. So this right here is what we call an Oculus.
Oculus.
Yeah, so in umbrella term, you can just say headset.
Okay.
So we do not design this. This is designed.
No, we must show people that we've learned. Oculus it is.
So we do not build this.
Uh-huh.
This, we get it from Meta, Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, so
yes.
they are the ones building all those things. So
Uh-huh.
there are different types of this one. We just prefer this type of Oculus. This one is Quest 3, Oculus Meta Quest 3. And another problem, we have with this tool in South Africa is that it's quite expensive. Hopefully in the next coming years, it's going to become
But hence
cheaper.
you said that the investment, people need to be very careful in terms of
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, something like this would cost you around 15,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is your Oculus, and then these are your controllers, which will be your hands when you are now immersed. So it's very simple to use this tool. You just wear it like this, and then just like that, take my hands, and then I can no longer see the guys in the room.
Okay.
So now I am seeing the metaverse, this virtual space. So I can interact with the objects. But most importantly, if you can see in this controller, we are able to move with this gear because we don't want people to move physically. Next thing I will be punching your laptop, punching people, you know, so there is a bound to where which you operate, you're allowed to move. It's like a small circle. And that's when you are starting to use this tool, you're able to grab and everything. So even bend down as you would to pick up something in real life, you know. So yeah, simply just like that.
Okay. Simply just like that, and you've created a virtual reality.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
I'm in Paris now.
Yes, I need to experience that, maybe just as part of a simulation, just to go through that. Right.
Okay. Thank you for such an interesting demonstration. So how do you see VR evolving over the next coming 5 years?
Well, that's also a good question. So more especially for us as Africans, I think this is an opportunity, you know, for us to shine as well. It's just a bit sad, or I don't know if maybe it's a good thing, but we only have few competitors, you know, so only got few people doing VR in South Africa. We have like 2 or 3, you know, some of them are even leaving business, you know, so more business for us, but we would still like more people, you know, more competition means business is doing well.
Exactly.
So yeah, in the next coming years, I imagine this tool integrated with AI. That would be a very powerful system, because now instead of us building something, taking 3 months to build something, we can have content that is more personalized. You know, so when you wear this headset, it takes you to Paris immediately, because it knows who's logging in, what do they prefer, what they want and stuff. So also even generating this content, you know, I imagine a world where we don't have to spend so much resources with this VR, spending 6 months just to build something so simple, you know, with just a voice command. You wear the headset, I want to be in Paris, and then it just creates an environment there. But also, as I said before earlier, that I imagine this being standardized, you know, rather than being isolated and say this tool is so fancy, also can be used maybe in employees in boarding. Yeah, well, when you are joining a new company, you know, instead of having facilitators or people that will be training employees, showing them the building around and all those things, we just standardize using VR. You know, you can tour the facilities using this tool, the VR. Instead of having the lengthy presentations, we can just immerse you, and then you get familiarized with what we are doing in this company. You see everything that we do. Instead of us, you know, I know this might be a bit tricky to visualize. That's the most beautiful thing about this thing. Of course, it's playing with our minds, but we're gonna see it in the next coming years. Because right now we can have meetings on Teams. It's cool, which is cool. But just imagine, I wear this headset, you also wear this headset. We can connect wherever you are in the world, and we're able to see each other and interact. So we are wearing this headset. We are in the same. We can be in the same room
without physically being in the same room.
Exactly, you know. So we can work on something physically together, but we are actually not there, but we are there. So that's what I'm seeing in the next coming years.
That's quite interesting. I think that's very powerful and interesting in that aspect. Because I mean, what you mentioned in terms of onboarding, and that's the intro that I made with the onboarding, it would be nice. We save time with regards to the facilitators, specifically with companies that have other branches elsewhere. You don't actually have to go there, but you can experience how the other branches are within the organization and have a full picture of the organization itself. So you mentioned when you started that you are the COO of the company, right? And you also mentioned that you do have a qualification. If there are people, because we are an HR consulting company, right? We always try and refer back to the person, candidates, what can we share with our viewers. If there are people that are interested in being in this particular field, or that are interested in VR, or that would want to do what you're doing, what qualifications do they need to study? And once that is done, what opportunities are there for the candidates?
So I would say you would need to have masters from Harvard, to do this thing. I'm joking.
Don't play with us.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
It's very quite simple.
Mm.
Just that a lot of people are intimidated by tech, you know. But a simple diploma in multimedia, game development, can lend you a job into this thing, you know. And also, as guys, we are moving into, this fast-paced world. We do not really worry so much about the theory that you know, and this qualification, having your honors and masters. But it's all about what can you do, the practicals. Can you code a simple thing? Once you can show, competence in that, then you're good to go. You can be able to join us, So there are many opportunities, but I would advise people to look into, software development, because we do not want people to box themselves into this game development thing, So if you can study AI and all those things, then you can be good to go, because these systems are evolving, with time. You think maybe studying data science is the thing now, but in the next coming 2 years, it's going to be...
Things have evolved,
yeah.
Yes. No, fair enough. Ma'am, from your side, what do you do with the company?
Okay, thank you for that question. So with what happens with XR, we're just not dealing with virtual reality, but we have also ventured into being a software company, where we have software developers and we are having an e-commerce store. So with the e-commerce store, we are onboarding rural and township SMEs. So we are having developers like Ndando and other developers as well, where we saw a gap within the economy, rather, that we have a problem with employment and how businesses are just not scaling. So it became a problem as to why are businesses not scaling. Like we are having like 1,000 businesses, and the next day you just wake up and you feel like, I just don't want to do this thing anymore. So that's where XR gave birth to an e-commerce store called Izozo.
Izozo.
Yes.
Okay.
So with Izozo, I am the marketing and digital manager, and I am working with Abundando. We are having software developers, and we have agents as well. So what happens is we train agents, we find just unemployed young people, we empower youth.
That's great.
Yeah. To be agents. So what they do, firstly, what qualifies you, you must have data, obviously, and you must have a smartphone or a laptop, because you'll just be remote. You're not going to be in the office or anything like that. So what we then did, we developed a software for that e-commerce store, and then we are onboarding SMMEs that are selling just about anything and everything. And then we are having, this one for services, the one that you were doing for services.
SMEs.
Yes. I forgot about it. But there is another one that the developers were doing, where you just come and you advertise your services than having to advertise products. So now what we are doing, we are onboarding SMMEs and we upload their products. So whatever it is that you
on the platform.
Yes,
on
the
Izozo.
platform. Yes.
Okay.
So what you do, you just give us maybe 10 of your products, and then we just put them on the platform with your prices. And also, you should be very familiar with using Pexi, Courier Guy, and stuff like that, because we are not going to be going there and collecting the order physically. Yes, and then so what you do, they just have to sign in on the website, which is Izozo, www.izozo.com. So what they do, you then sign up, you upload your products, or you have an agent do that for you.
Okay.
So because of XR is also is existing, it gave birth to it. So yeah, it's a very interesting concept.
It is quite interesting. I just want to go back because, like I said to Mdando earlier on, the whole platform is, as much as we're educating, we're sharing knowledge, we're also just looking after the other people that are still unemployed, that are looking for jobs. You mentioned agents, which is quite important as well. Maybe just give us a brief breakdown on the functions of the agents. Because if there's somebody that's actually watching the podcast and is interested in becoming an agent, what do they need to do as well? So firstly with the functions, and then just so that they can understand what being an agent entails, and then how do they go about if they are interested in becoming an agent at ISOS?
Okay, thank you for that question. So what an agent does, you are capable of onboarding SMMEs. You must have at least 15 SMMEs that you're going to be onboarding. So we are having a target for each agent. And when you have onboarded 15 SMMEs, you're going to be uploading their products, making sure that you advertise the business, their business as well. And then we have different packages where if you want us to help you with advertising using videos and pictures, we do that. An agent does that. Or if you say, no guys, I'm fine, I can do that, I just need you to help me with uploading the products, tracking the orders, and making sure that the order is delivered to the customer. So that's what the agent will basically be doing, or that's what the agent is doing at the moment.
Okay.
And
do they go out and source their own SMMEs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
And then if there's anybody that's interested in becoming an agent within the company, what do they need to do?
They just need to go to our website, and then you're just going to sign in as an agent.
Okay.
So you can register as an SMME, you register as an agent, or register as a driver. So as an agent, you're going to, you click there, and then you punch in your details, and then we are just going to shortlist you for some time, so that we can check if ever you do actually qualify.
So there is some sort of background checking and verification that happens.
Yes.
Okay, that's quite
Yes.
interesting. Okay, all right. So that's interesting. Before I close off, because I just want to maybe get a holistic picture. You already explained to us what the company does. I know the company predominantly focused on VR. Now you've shifted with the e-commerce situation. How did the name Izozo come about? Quite intrigued.
So as I'm saying, we are positioning, as Millicent was explaining, positioning ourselves as a software development company, but basically we are building solutions to existing problems. We are not just in a business of building because we can build software. So we wanted to keep our product as local as it can be. So the other one we were talking about is Ispani. So we have another platform called Ispani.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was basically helping the locals, because we also have another problem. We do in the townships, we do have people that have skills. We see our plumbers and everything, even our mechanics. However, they do not have qualifications. So platforms like LinkedIn, they do not necessarily cater for those people. So we decided to create a platform for them so they can advertise themselves there. And people can just get their services from our platform called Ispan. So all our names are just local. Yeah,
yes.
So Izozo, it's food. It started as food, and then now we, adding a lot of products. So yeah, that's how it came about.
Okay, all right. And then just the last one then with regards to Ispani. It's also a very good thing, just so that at least we try and, get people to start advertising, because like you said, we don't always have to go through the traditional methods. How do we go about to be seen, to be, to actually get to the other markets? Are we only focusing on specific areas, or anybody and everybody, wherever they are, they can register with ISPAN?
That's a good question, and that's what I love about the platform. So it started, and how I was visioning this thing as well. When I came from Cape Town, after I was done with my degree, coming to Pretoria, I struggled to find a barber. And I'm like, where am I gonna cut my hair? Now I have to go to the internet and be like, some of these guys, they're not even on the internet, but they're really good, So with these platforms, it allows you to just go there and then you put your location, the city. You say I'm in Pretoria or I'm in KZN Durban, and then you'll be able to see all the barbers,
that have registered,
that are in Durban, all the mechanics, all the plumbers, that are registered in that particular area that you're in. So that's how we envision this thing. It's not only in Pretoria, so we are critical on the location. We made it a thing that you really need to tell us where you are.
So that you can be reachable.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much. So just in closing, maybe if there are specifically clients that are interested on VR and all these things, the technical side of things, how do they get in touch with you guys?
Okay, so they can email us through our email admin@xrlab.co.za or visit our website. That's where they will see most of our information. So it's www.xrlab.co.za. So they can see everything. I think it's very important that they visit our website because they can get to see
more information.
A lot of our work there, because we do have a YouTube page. They will see, they click, and then they will see the apps we've built.
I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. I mean, from somebody that is in HR, the whole thing is just to try and merge or to integrate a human to the working market. And in between that, obviously, is the education, because you've mentioned a very important point. As much as you may have the qualification, the theoretical part, the practice or the practical part is also very important, because sometimes situations are different. It's how you maneuver around those situations. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming through. We really appreciate it. I think this was very informative. I've learned a lot. You've learned something.
Absolutely.
This was very informative. So thank you very much for coming through. So guys, if you have a story to tell or you want to join us on the podcast, please visit our website or send us an email on marketing@lethallohr.co.za. And like I always say, you don't have to take everything from the podcast. However, at least take one thing with you. Until the next episode, bye.